Hey everyone, Matt here with Steve from Matt and Steve SC. We are giving you Game 2 here of Group 4 of the MST, the MSL Survivor Tournament, Season 2 here. We just finished off our last game with Best versus Piano, and we are moving on here to Leta versus FireFist. There's FireFist, there is Leta.
Yeah, you were probably thinking, who's that on the screen? Well, so was I. But looking down at my stat sheet, I saw that that was FireFist, and this is Leta. So, Leta, definitely a well-known player, known to be kind of one of the top Terrans of the time right now. And although Terrans as a whole have not been doing very well in Star Leagues in general, and actually neither have Protosses, it's been all Zerg lately. But Leta is in the OSL as well. Also, he's seeded into that. And he's going to fight it out here to see if he can make it into the round of 32 of the MSL. So, good luck to Leta. I have to say, I'd rather see him in there than FireFist. FireFist is known as being kind of another Hyuk. He kind of sucks.
Although, you can't really say that as much about Hyuk nowadays, because, and a spoiler for Group 2, Hyuk advanced with Huashin, I believe. And Hyuk played a couple pretty good games. I mean, he is really stepping it up. I believe Cholera did commentate Group 2. So, I mean, again, you know, we may have spoiled it, but you can go check it out. But, you know, Hyuk is not looking that bad. FireFist, the problem with FireFist is he has a cool name. See, Hyuk has a terrible name, so you expect him to suck. Hey, Hyuk can suck. But FireFist has a really cool name, FireFist, so you wouldn't expect him to suck, but it's not. His name should be like Sparkfinger.
Well, that's true. It's
like
also, his hair doesn't look that good, and that's usually what makes a difference in these games. But
it's true.
What really sucks for FireFist is that he has a 35% win rate against Terran, and he's going against one of the top Terrans right now. And it looks like he's a little bit sleep deprived.
Yeah.
So that's not good either. But you know, when you're playing StarCraft like 60 hours a day, or a day, 60 hours a week. That's what happens, and it looks like after watching some cool little
I'd like to actually see that video.
Missiles there. We're back to the crappy music that is the MSL, and we're starting off here. This is going to be on Destination once again.
Yep.
Map that's just been played like crazy, and it's a pretty good map. It's actually a pretty good map for mech. If I had to guess, I would say Leta's probably going to open with some Vultures and build some Wraiths, and that's pretty much his characteristic play. He's one of these players that's known to be really good with Wraiths. Terran is the Leta. I'm sorry, Leta is the Terran player.
Terran is the Leta
in the bottom
player.
right. See, it's been so long since we've done this. And up in the top left, you're gonna have the Zerg player, Teal, which is FireFist, the unknown.
Yes, that's right. We're trying to remember his name. Oh, wait, Jaedong? No, that's right. It's FireFist. Well, this is interesting, and I kind of like the way that the MSL does the same map for the first two games in a group, because you can see the different dynamics. So we just saw a Protoss versus Zerg, although it wasn't a good Protoss versus Zerg, so I can't say that's going to give you guys like a great idea of how this game is played on this map. The same thing with this. It's probably not going to be a very good Zerg versus Terran, so it might not be the best example, but either way, it is an example nonetheless. Of course, because the Zerg is playing a Terran, we're generally not going to see any early spawning pools or anything like that. Although, I mean, we certainly can see like an overpool or 12 pool, but a lot of times the Zerg is just going to go for the early expansion and then get some Mutalisks to do some harassment. So,
well, and I don't want to set FireFist up for failure too much here. I don't want to count him out, although he might be setting himself up for failure by not getting his hatchery, and now Leta is putting an engineering bay down there, although to be fair, if he had brought his drone out there to put a hatchery down, I think Leta would have maybe beat him to that. I'm not actually sure about the timing of that, or he might have got it down. But that engineering bay is just to stop that expansion, which it looks like Leta might be kind of disappointed to learn that he wasn't going for it anyways, but he is going to have a drone coming out pretty soon, I would think. We haven't seen it yet. It looks like Leta is just getting his gas now, so he is probably going to at least get a factory to start. And these days, you know, we've had a lot of change in the dynamics of Terran versus Zerg. If you've been following it all lately, the metagame has kind of shifted a lot. It looks like FireFist is just going to put down his hatchery there next to
out of position,
the engineering bay. Well, that's actually a pretty decent response, because after that engineering bay is canceled or destroyed, then you could just still put the third one up there and you still have 3 hatcheries to go off of.
Right.
What I was going to say, though, is that Terran versus Zerg, we've seen a lot of Terrans now just always open up with a factory and get at least a Vulture or 2 to harass, or at least force the Zerg to get a sunken, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go mech. It just is a good way to, you know, if you can catch the Zerg off guard, you can kill a bunch of drones and even win the game that way, or if not, you're at least forcing them to build a sunken. So whether or not Leta's going for mech, I don't know, but he's at least going to get that first factory most likely with that gas. And there's a factory down. It looks like he's just now sealing his wall off, and it looks like this engineering bay is finally going to go down.
Yep, engineering bay is going to be canceled. I'm actually kind of surprised that he didn't just build it and then he could have just lifted it. I thought that's kind of what Leta was doing there, but I guess it makes sense. Even though you lose some of the money from it, you know, you're still saving money ultimately. And yeah, you're definitely right about the hatchery. I mean, the plan for the Zerg player against Terran is to get 3 hatcheries opening up anyways. The only difference is he's not going to be able to easily get gas from that first hatchery, which is usually what you do to try to save up a little bit of gas to eventually get the Mutalisk, get the Spire, and you know, get the Lair Tech going. So FireFist is going to be a little behind in that respects. And it's interesting because usually what you will see from really aggressive Zerg players, we saw this a lot from Shine in the OSL, is, hold on here, what am I, oh, there's the star part. Okay, so Leta building a starport.
Classic, I called it.
Because he is Leta. Absolutely, you know, Leta's being Leta. But what I was going to say about Shine is that Shine had some fantastic drone harassment in keeping Bisu from building his expansions. And I won't tell you how that game ended up, but let me just say it was a very good series with Bisu versus Shine. So definitely check it out. I think that was Cholera who did that one, but very, very good series, you guys. So check out that series. Anyways, but we don't see a lot of aggression from FireFist, and this is because FireFist knows he's playing against a better player. And a lot of times you'll see players do one of two things. They'll either be really aggressive and try to cheese, which barely happens anymore. I remember just a year ago we used to see cheese back and forth a lot. But nowadays, the weaker player will just tend to try to go standard, kind of wait for the mid-game to make any sort of move. You'll notice there is a Overlord hanging around that mineral patch. There is a mineral patch behind your base that you can mine out to try to get a back door. So we can see Leta being the savvy fox that he is, bringing back Marines to surround the Overlord and probably also to check to see if there's a drone mining out that mineral patch, and there comes the Zergling to try to clean that up. So it looks like FireFist is going to save an Overlord.
That's actually a pretty nicely job well done, not losing that Overlord.
I agree.
More careless players would have definitely lost that Overlord. He probably still will lose it to the Wraith that's going to be coming out. Actually, it might be a dropship. I'm not sure. I haven't seen. Yeah, it looks like there's a control tower going up, so I don't think he has a Wraith out. And actually, science facility going up, so it might just be so that he can get quick science vessels, which are, of course, there is the first Wraith, you're right. So he does have one Wraith out, and that's going to be good for scouting purposes, so Leta doesn't even really need to get scanned right now, and he can just see, you know, whether he's going mutas or not, which it looks like he is, but it does seem like that FireFist is kind of far behind in tech, considering everything that Leta has up. Leta's just now getting his engineering bay down, but I do think it's going to be down in time, and even if not, he does have the Wraith, which can help defend against Mutalisk a little bit. Looks like one Overlord is going to go down. There's no anti-air right now at all for FireFist. He doesn't have any Scourge or anything like that. A couple of Zerglings going in probably just to scout and see, I guess, if that command center is there or not.
Yeah.
Looks like the first mutas are being produced here. So otherwise, pretty standard on FireFist's part to kind of go 3-hatch muta. I don't know if that was his original intent, but he is going now. And it looks like Leta is upgrading Cloak for his Wraiths. And again, I think that he's a little bit ahead. Yeah, turret's already going up, so definitely going to have enough time. It looks like he's building a bunker just to be safe to protect against some lurkers if there were any. Well, there's no lurkers. He knows there's no lurkers, so I guess it's just some static defense in case some Zerglings try to run in or whatever. Right. 2 Wraith already out, so it looks like Leta's actually going to rely on his race quite a bit. First SCV does go out and see that those mutas are coming in, and we'll see if FireFist can do any damage with these mutas.
A 2-port race can be really effective against a Zerg if you're, one, playing against a weaker player as far as Mutalisk control, but mainly if it remains a secret for a long time. Obviously, 1 Wraith is no indication that you're actually going for a Wraith build. And that is what Leta is doing so far. You can see him still producing there. I mean, I'm assuming he's going to try to, you know, I don't know. He's building the Wraiths. He's going to be building the science vessels.
Yeah, he needs a science vessel.
Yeah, he's going to be building a pretty strong anti-air army here, but obviously we know that Wraiths are also very weak here. And what I am surprised, and this is what shows that that FireFist has been in the dark, is that FireFist has not made any sort of Mutalisk. He only has 2 Scourge. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Mutalisk, Hydralisk. You know, there's no Hydralisk